of it. Living Waters presents On the Box.
That's right, it is Monday, and if you heard me holler the name Steve, Loretta, and Amber, it's because Steve, Loretta, and Amber are in the house! Hi, Ray.
Welcome to On the Box.
I'm excited. Are you excited? Mark, get out of my picture! You get enough FaceTime.
What?
Leave my FaceTime alone.
That coloring is so good.
Do you like that?
That's Scotty.
But we can't watch the monitor.
Scotty must have done such a good job with the lighting. I'm delighted.
It was our guy. It was Danny and Eddie
and Scotty.
And Scotty.
He purchased the lights.
He purchased
the new lights.
The new lights.
And he set them up.
He set them up.
And he spent ages playing with them.
That's right, and we adjusted them after he spent ages playing with them.
Good. Thanks for adjusting them.
Sure.
God bless you guys.
Okay. You want to talk about your weekend?
No, it was horrible. No.
Don't lie like that.
We had a great time, great fellowship, preached at the Alamo.
Remember the Alamo.
I remember the Alamo.
I'm sure there are folks who will remember it forever now.
Well, the highlight was when I had to drive a Hertz car back. We rented a car to drive from Austin to San Antonio, and I had to drive it back because Easy stayed on for some reason, and I had a very interesting experience at the airport.
I know why you stayed on.
Why?
He got a special trip home.
Yes, he did. Yeah, I had committed to speak at a church 3 times yesterday. But anyway, I got to the airport, gave the Hertz guy a $1 trillion bill, and he's just standing there, and some guy jumps out of a truck, runs up to me, says, "Can I have one?" And I said, "Sure." He said, "Will you sign it?" I said, "Sure," because I'm always signing those things. I'm signing it. And then he says, "This is the most interesting man in the world." And then he said some guy's name, Don Kios.
No, the Dos Equis guy!
That's it, I couldn't say it. I thought, so this guy, he puts the trillion, he wants it signed. I'm the most interesting man in the world. I thought, I didn't know what was going on. I never heard of it. So anyway, I go to the airport and I'm standing to get my ticket. Another guy comes up to me and says, "You're the most interesting man in the world."
No!
I said, "I just talked to you." He says, "No," and this is within 5 minutes. And I says, "You a Christian?" He says, did you do those commercials?" I said, "No, but we've got a television program." I said, "You a Christian?" He says, "Yeah." Did mission work for a couple of years. So I said, "Here, hell's best kept secret in a book." He says, I'll read this. I said, "Where you from?" He said, "Salt Lake City." So, so it was very, so I looked up Don, whatever.
Dos Equis, man.
Yeah. The guy is strikingly handsome, but no, what's your problem? So I can understand how there was that, mess up.
I get it.
It was really weird.
So you're a cross between Chuck Norris and the Dos Equis guy.
Yeah, I guess so. What does he say?
Have
Stay
one on
thirsty?
me.
Stay thirsty.
Stay
is what
thirsty
it says.
or something like
drink
that?
living waters. Stay thirsty. Continue. Anyway, I had to speak at a church yesterday.
Someone may end up suing you for your beard and that force you to remove it because of a trademark infringement.
No. I've been. Who was it? Sonny Bono. I've had him. Peter Sellers. I was like him. Einstein. I was like him. Chuck Norris.
Mr. Bean.
Peter Sellers.
And Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean.
Thanks, Mark.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mr. Bean?
Mr. Bean. That's
and
what
Peter
Easy
Sellers?
said. Peter Sellers. Oh,
No,
yeah.
no, Easy's Mr. Bean.
Yeah, I know. That's what I think. He does a good Mr. Bean. Anyway, I was at a church yesterday, Sunday, spoke 3 times. It was Calvary Chapel, Montebello, and they were so hospitable. They gave me a nice green room. They gave me a nice lunch.
We gave you a green room.
Yeah, it certainly was. And it was a burrito for lunch, and it was a
They didn't throw it at you.
It was a hot, didn't need to. I felt the heat from it from a mile away. It was hot, full of peppers in there, and I sat there over lunch, could only eat about a 1/10 of it, but with a napkin over my face, with my nose running, my eyes running. It was so hot. Greg Elsasser had one, and he said his was hot. His stomach was burning for ages afterwards. So I preached on how to get on fire for God, and it did actually help.
So how did the Christian Film Festival go?
Oh,
how did we do?
The Courageous won. Wonderful movie.
We were up against Courageous for the finals?
Yeah, we were up against Courageous. We didn't win, but Romans 8:28, and God bless Courageous guys. Met Stephen, what's his name that produced it?
Kendrick.
Kendrick, yeah, he's a wonderful guy. Love him, and we had good times of fellowship. Met his family, did some photos together. And stop it, Tony. This is live. Edit that out. I'm getting on. That's all. Carry on.
All right. Well, so how did our
so now you please, we didn't go straight into the school shooting.
Oh man. I think the paint's still drying in our remodeled studio. I'm making this up. So did you, in all of that, did you say how 180 did?
I didn't stay. I had to come back and preach. So I
Eddie,
didn't hear.
didn't we finish top 5 in the overall? Somewhere in the top
great.
5. Yeah.
That's great.
But lost to Courageous.
God bless
Still
Courageous.
a good movie. Courageous is still a good movie.
Oh, it is a good movie.
Even though
yes.
they won.
Yeah, I'm trying to change the subject before I cry for the unborn.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
Go over to Mark for something.
We'll go to Mark just to see how his weekend was, and then we've got a video of you open airing at the Alamo.
Oh, I remember that.
So, Mark?
The weekend, Friday.
Big Mark!
That's right in your face, isn't it?
You look good.
It's even bigger.
You look... No, stop. All right, focus. What's going on?
Friday night, we had a great time. When we were going to go over to the Glass House in Pomona, and we did not end up going out that way. Instead, we went to the Block because there was no band playing at the Glass House. But it was really neat. I was able to link up with one of the pastors over at Kindred, and we talked to, I think, 3 or 4 different groups of people. And now, the last group of people that I talked to, I thought was the most interesting. And that was a group of kids from a church that Ray had recently just spoke at. They said, hey, I really like Ray's approach, but I don't think it's necessary to use his methodology in all witnessing encounters. Which I thought was going to be a very interesting conversation, because there was about 6 or 7 guys that I was talking to, and I finally honed in on one of the main leaders there, and I started talking to him, and I said, hey, at what point would it be a good idea to begin to use life enhancement as a draw card for salvation? Silence. Just like that. You're right. The second question I asked him was, at what point should I not use the law to bring the knowledge of sin to pave the way for grace, mercy, the cross, the resurrection, and simply talk about Christ? And he said, oh, well, just now I talked to a Buddhist down at Starbucks, and it wasn't necessary to talk about sin. I go, wait a minute. A Buddhist doesn't believe in sin as you know it. He doesn't believe in evil as you know it. It would have been a perfect individual to talk about the commandments. And as we started to talk, he ended up saying, well, it's obvious you've just studied this out a little bit more than I have. We're going to have to agree to disagree and just go our ways. And I went,
wait a minute.
This isn't making sense to me.
Yeah, is he just saying it's okay if he remains in ignorance? Is that what he was saying?
I can't put words in his mouth, but I did find it interesting when I said, hey, well, I love you enough to share with you where I believe you're an error. Can you love me enough to show me where I'm an error scripturally? He said again, hey, well, obviously I haven't studied this out as much as you have, so I'm not able to do that. But it was an interesting night, all as well, and finished it off with some Krispy Kremes.
Hoorah!
Yes.
Oh, they're nice.
Probably the best thing I did this weekend was at my church Friday night. We did what was called the Feast, which is a periodic study that our church does, led by the pastor. About 20 of us gathered, studied Philippians for 6 hours.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it wasn't simply the pastor just teaching for 6 hours, but we would go and make observations of the text and read it over and over again, come back together, share our observations, and then he would teach from 6 to midnight.
Goodness me.
Yeah, I feel like I know the Philippians fairly well right now.
Yeah, I mean, conquer Philippians. I like that thought.
Conquer Philippians?
Yeah, get to know it really well.
Yeah.
Overcome it.
Yeah.
Let it be yours.
All right.
Take it slave.
Okay, we're going to quiet down just for a second. Something tragic did happen this morning. Yet another school shooting, this time in Ohio. And I'm going to be reading from an AP news article. A gunman opened fire inside a high school cafeteria at the start of the school day Monday, wounding 5 students, one of whom later died, authorities said. A suspect believed to be a student was arrested distance away. The suspect, TJ Lane, 16 years old, was taken into custody near his car about a half mile from the suburban Cleveland school, said FBI agent Anderson. Apparently this kid walked up to some people standing on a street corner and turned himself in to them. And students screamed, ran in panic through the halls when gunfire broke out at 7:30 a.m. at the 1,100-student Chardon High School. Heather Ziska, 17, said she was in the cafeteria when she and other students heard popping noises in the hall. She said she saw a boy she recognized as a fellow student come into the cafeteria and start shooting. So what I've read about this community, very quiet suburban community, not known for a high crime rate or anything like that. We don't know why this 16-year-old went in and started shooting students. Apparently the shooting took place in 3 different parts of the school. I don't know if he was gunning for particular students, but just another tragedy here in the United States.
You know what the common denominator is in school shootings?
What's that?
People are always trying to find out what it is. Sinful nature. That's all it is.
Yeah.
You know, wickedness.
Now, what would be your approach to doing evangelism around this school?
Oh,
Just
yeah. I ask people what they, if they ever think about dying. I mean, now is the opportunity. That's what Spurgeon said. He said, men need to be reminded that they're going to die, and it helps them to live by being reminded. So, yeah, a lot of people right now have been thinking, that could have been me. I could have died. What would have happened to me? So take advantage of it and share the love of God. Absolutely.
Yeah, if you're we have a lot of brothers and sisters who watch the program, Evangelists Out in the Street in Ohio. If you're watching and you live anywhere near this high school, contact us on thebox@livingwaters.com. Maybe there's a way we can set up a 180 outreach to that high school. That might be a good idea, huh?
You know, a good thing to do is say to people, like Mark was saying the other day, is there anything I could pray about for you? That approach, and then after they say, yeah, I've just been shaken a little bit, share the gospel with them.
Yeah. Mark, what do you think when you hear another story like this? Sadly, these are happening too often.
Boy, they sure are, aren't they? You know, D.L. Moody said, be often at where men die. It has its way to stamp eternity on our eyelids, as K.P. Yohannan once said, that whether you're awake or you're asleep, you're having that right mindset that where they go, you will someday in the future go. And we don't know when that's going to take place. So as tragic as this is, we trust that God can even turn this around or even use it for good for those who love God and are called according to his purpose. I remember we had a deeper conference or transform conference not too long ago in Denver, Colorado, where we had over near Columbine took place. And Ray had the opportunity to go over there. He snuck out during the conference, and he had the chance to see where different things took place with that. So what we see that even after, long after the fact, when these tragedies take place, they're still talking pieces. They're timeless. They're freeze-froze inside the mind of those who experience them. And they will always be a springboard. And we need to take advantage of those springboards when they arise.
Absolutely.
So the church needs to be right there in the midst. There's not a greater group of people that need to be there because they have a message of hope.
And let's hope the churches in the area of the school do that, bring a message of hope. They should, provide whatever physical care they can to the people of their community. But more important than that is getting the law and the gospel out to the people who really need to hear it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So be praying for the victims. Be praying for the family of the student who sadly was killed. Be praying for the family of this kid who did the shooting, and be praying for him too. Pray that he comes to repentance and faith as well. All right. We're going to go back to San Antonio.
Good.
Because you did preach at the Alamo, and Eddie has put this together for us. So
Good old Eddie.
Good old Eddie. Eddie edited it. Let's take a look.
We're in San Antonio in Texas at the Alamo. Remember the Alamo? John and Wayne and all that sort of victory stuff. It was actually a terrible disaster, and I hope that's not going to happen today because we'd hoped to preach, and it's got the makings of a disaster. There's something going on over there. We can try and speak in between their shooting of guns and cannons, and I hope the cannons aren't pointed at us. So let's see how it goes.
So Ray, this is the nicest I've seen you dressed. Street preaching. You too.
Hello. Well, I'm prepared for my own funeral today after we preach.
What's the capital of England? England's overseas, okay? What? London? You got it. Give him a hand. I want some clapping for the guy. That's right. We're getting harder now. What's the capital of Germany? Anyone know? Who said Amsterdam? That's wrong! Give him a hand! Amsterdam's another country. We love losers. There you are. You. Okay, does anybody here want to go for $20? You have to be a loud mouth, and you think you're a good person? Yes, sir. Come up to the front. Just stand there. Don't come over the yellow line. No! Hey, I'll come closer. Yeah. You think you're a good person? Yes, sir. All I want from you is some honest answers. Can you give me honest answers?
Yes, I can.
How many lies have you told in your life? Take an estimate. Stab.
1,000?
1,000. What do you call someone who's told 1,000 lies? No, he can do it. What do you call someone? If I told you 1,000 lies, what would you call me, Louise?
A human?
Yep, you know I'm human. I got eyes, I got a mouth, I got arms. I'm human. But what would you call me? It rhymes with fire and begins with L.
A liar.
That's it. So what are you?
A liar.
Have you ever stolen something in your life, even if it's small, like a diamond ring or something?
Yes.
Okay, what do you call someone who steals things?
A thief.
He can do it. So what are you?
A thief.
No, you're not. You're a lying thief.
All right, so here's an interesting situation. This is a local church. They've come out to sing worship songs in public.
Come over here and sing for me. Come on. I need you. Come over here. You didn't earn this. Okay? I'm going to give it to you as a gift. And that's how God gives everlasting life. We don't earn it by doing anything. We can't. We're criminals. Anything we offer God is an attempt to bribe Him. But God, because He's rich in mercy, offers us the gift of eternal life. So this is yours. Give it a reason.
God bless you. Thank you.
That's why I praise you, I lift you up, and I magnify your name. That's why my heart is filled with praise.
He got me!
Probably the most interesting part of that explosion, Ray, was the fact that you didn't cause it.
Well, I didn't, but I wish I had a tomato in my hand. I would have gone, they got me! It was interesting. Right at the end of the preaching, off goes a cannon.
Yeah.
They did try and stop us.
Who did?
The
with the
guys
cannon?
with the cannon, yeah. Came over to me and they said, we want you to stop. And I said, see that lady over there with the hat? Go and talk to her. I didn't know who she was. That kept the guy quiet for a while. And then I think she sent him to Eddie, and Eddie said, we're not going to stop, but we will soon. You know, we're not going to stop now. And
why do they want you to stop? They give a reason, or they
because
just
they're
didn't
doing
like
their
it?
little battle over there, and they thought we were stealing their crowd. You know? That's why they aimed the cannon at us.
All right. Well, now you like that? I hear that area is really nice. San Antonio along the river
The
for
river
preaching.
is just wonderful. That it's called the River Walk. We had dinner there on Saturday night.
Kind of like Santa Monica on steroids?
No,
or?
it's better than Santa Monica. There's not so many weirdos. You know, Santa Monica's got weirdos.
Yes.
Yeah, and so we had fish and chips on Friday night or something. It was great. Great time.
Good. All right. While we were playing that video, a question came into the chat room. I'm about to sneeze.
No, not a sneeze from Tony. Oh. I mean, that would be pretty powerful. Is it gone?
For the moment.
I'll tell you what, I'll slap your face if it comes again, all right?
Yeah. Great, Ray. Hit me as hard as you can. Anyways, while we were watching the video of your Alamo preaching, question came in. Someone asked if it was all right for their 12... Don't do that. If it was all right for their 12-year-olds to take gospel tracts to their school. And absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yes. Your 12-year-old doesn't need the school's permission to do that, so long as they are not disrupting class in any way, so long as they're not disrupting the normal operations of the school. Students have the right to free speech on their campus. Mm-hmm. They can distribute gospel tracts to other students on the campus, and that would be a great idea for the students at this high school. Hopefully there's some Christian students at this high school where the shooting took place that they'll think of that. So ACLJ, American Center for Law and Justice, is a really good website. Organization Jay Sekulow leads that. They have some articles on their website regarding students' free speech rights on campus. I would encourage you to go there and learn more.
Good. Sneeze gone?
Yes,
Ray,
sir.
Was that church group that was singing, were they trying to drown you out, or were they just simply doing their own thing?
Well, they were certainly doing their own thing. One way to scatter sinners and keep them away from you is to sing worship songs. If you want Christians
and
to
sing them badly.
Yeah, and so I wouldn't advise doing that. Sing worship songs within the church, raise your hands and worship God and within the church in that sense. But if you want to reach the lost, don't sing worship songs. Sing something that's going to draw people. But I found it very distracting, and I tried to get them over because I was preaching the cross at that point, trying to keep people's attention. I pulled them over to join with us, and then when Easy was speaking, I said, you could really help by standing in the crowd and being a crowd with us. And they said no, and they just went off and started singing again. So
do you think they were oblivious to what was going on, or do you think they just didn't care that the gospel was being preached?
I really
What do you
don't
think?
know. I don't know about that. You'd have to ask them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it seemed like you got along well with them in the part of the video we saw.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
They knew who Ray was. They knew you. Now, Eddie was
Oh
sharing.
yeah, the Doseki guy.
Hey,
the most interesting
you're
man
the
in the
most
world.
interesting man in the world.
That's fun. Stay thirsty.
Oh, we are not going to get through today's show in its entirety. I can tell that already.
We haven't started.
All right, we got a viewer tip. Our viewer tip, evangelism tip from a viewer.
Viewer tip, go off the air. What's a viewer tip?
This tip came to us from Wayne White of Grayson, Georgia. My daughter, Taryn, wrote a college paper on Zoroastrianism.
It's a very old religion.
It is. Mm-hmm. You did some checking?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
for your
did.
religions in a nutshell or something like that?
No, I looked at this and
Oh,
I
you
thought
did?
Tony's going to say, what's that? So I thought I'd better know. It's a very old
Yeah, very
religion. It's
old
kind of
religion.
faded out. It's
Yeah.
it's when they they're fans of Zorro, the guy with the sword.
Most interesting man in the world right here beside me. Ka-ching-ching. Oh, wow, okay.
Squirrel.
In it, she shared the law and the gospel in this paper on Zorro.
To apologize on behalf of On the Box.
You didn't see what was on the screen.
What?
It's a squirrel. Remember that? We did a transition. This a squirrel looking
right.
over the edge of the Grand Canyon.
That's right.
Remember that squirrel?
Looking into eternity.
Anyways, the viewer evangelism tip is that Taryn, in college class, wrote a paper on this old religion, and in it she shared the law and the gospel. Sharing through high school and college essays is a good way to witness to at least the teacher and instructor, and more if you get to read the paper in class.
Oh, that's
Now, that's
great.
actually a gutsy move. A lot of
Yeah.
kids in school don't want to share the gospel in class because they're afraid it's going to affect their grade.
Mm-hmm.
And with some teachers, it will. Because some teachers are out there not to teach, but to press an agenda.
If that
And-
happens, leap for joy. You're blessed.
That's right. Mark, didn't you do something like that in a class? I mean, you've done a lot of things you shouldn't have in a class, but didn't you once challenge a teacher on evolution or something like that?
I did a couple times. In fact, the first time I did it inside a geology class in college, I just started laughing. I didn't even mean to, actually. I wasn't attempting to be disrespectful. But he was talking about the age of the earth, and I was asking him, how do we know how old that thing is there in those rocks? And he said, by the age of the rocks. And I go, well, how do we know how old the age of the rocks are? And he said, by the age of whatever it is, the fossil that was in the rocks. I said, are you serious? This is the circular reasoning at its best. We know that fossil is X amount of years old because we know the age of the rocks. And we know the age of the rocks because of the age of the fossil. And I just started laughing. I go, is anybody else seeing this? I go, this is so hilarious. And so right there at that point, he went on and he realized what he is doing wrong, which is what all evolutionists do, circular reasoning.
That's right.
Crazy.
All right, and we promised a friend of the ministry, an Academy grad, that we would share his video today, 22nd Street Ministries, led by Al Martinez up in Bakersfield.
Oh, very cool.
They did some Walmart evangelism. Take a look.
Hi friends, this is Al. I'm out here at Walmart with our street team, 22nd Street Ministries, and our church, Grace Bible Church at Bakersfield. Today's a Saturday. We're here in town in Bakersfield at a local shopping center. As you can see behind me, there's a Walmart. And behind me off to my left, there's one of our booths. Our booth has several information of the gospel about our church, has a question, are you good enough? Are you a good person? And what we're doing today is we're here outside of Walmart. We did get permission from the local managers here at the store. And we're just here handing out tracts. We're handing out $1 million bills such as these. And we're just having nice conversations with people. Today's a Saturday. People are just leisurely walking in and walking out. And we're just trying to explain to them what the gospel of Jesus Christ is. We are explaining to them a little bit about the Ten Commandments, about sin, about righteousness, and also the judgments to come. But we are also explaining to them the good news, which is that Jesus Christ died on the cross for sinners, that by being born again, a sinner can be reconciled towards God, being justified by faith, and God will lead them into repentance and they would have a right relationship with God. So we're here out here, just a few members of our church, and we just want to encourage any other Christians that are out there that they would do something like this in their neighborhood. Just put up a booth, talk to the managers, get some permission, put up a table, get some Bibles ready, get some tracts about the gospel, maybe information on your church, and you can have a nice time. We were out here a couple hours today. We're going to be out here for a few more hours, and what we're going to do is just engage in a conversation with local citizens of our own hometown. Our church is right around the corner, and so we'd like to just encourage you to go to your local shopping center, speak to authorities, get permission, and just spend a day like today and talking to people about the gospel and talking to people about the glory of God. So I would encourage you to get that done, talk to your church, get some people together, and have a good time. So I would encourage you to go ahead and go and serve the King and do it before it's too late. And God bless. Thanks.
All right, so that was Al Martinez.
What a nice guy. What a gentle
Al's
spirit.
a great guy.
Yeah.
He's been in the academy twice, brought his then fiance, Christy, now wife. They're expecting their first child.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah. No, don't congratulate me.
I was swinging around when I said it. Congratulations. He's been quite a lot of people come twice. Giggles came about 15
Giggles
times.
came 3 times.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, 3
Giggles
times.
came 3 times.
So, Tony, how do you ask for permission from management? I want to go to Walmart. I want to set up a booth like that. You can get those banners, by the way, a couple of them on our website, livingwaters.com. But it's not too hard to come up with your own banner. But how do you set up a table like that? You go up to management and say, hey, I want to talk about God in front of your store. Is that okay? I mean, what do you say?
Well, what you do is you go to the manager of the store and you let them know that you want to distribute literature outside the store. And now with Walmart, it's interesting. It depends. It changes from Walmart to Walmart. It seems that if Walmart owns the property that the store is on,
Including the parking lot.
including the parking lot, yeah, they own the property, that you're more likely going to get a positive response, going to be allowed to do it. If the Walmart is on property owned by a management company and it's part of a larger strip mall, the tendency seems to be that they don't give you permission. But so it's kind of hit and miss. You got to check with your Walmart in your area. Simply go to the manager, let them know, hey, I want to exercise free speech outside of your store, and I want to set up a table or something, hand out tracts, and talk to people.
Isn't it just best to ask for
forgiveness instead of
and
permission?
permission at that point? What if he says, no, that's not a good idea?
Well,
I mean,
if you're planning on just going there and handing out tracts by yourself, I think you do commando raids on the store, and you hand them out whenever you can, and when they chase you away, you go away. But if you want to set up a fixed spot, a table or something like that, you're going to have to work with the management to do that. So, all right, before we leave, we want to get to transition this. We were sent this picture by Scott Johnson, and I don't know where Scott's from, but let's take a look at this picture. He found this picture on another website. That is a whole lot of people in that truck.
Photoshop.
So it's not Photoshop. Can you tell? You think so? Mark, do you think it's Photoshop?
Boy.
Look out this head. Yeah.
Is that the Duggar van? I mean, that thing's crazy.
The goal of today's show is to lose as many friends as possible. What do you think, Ray? Transition that picture.
Oh, put it on again so we can transition now. Whosoever will may come.
That's right. That's great. Where are they going? I mean, as far as the horizon, you can't see anything. It reminds me that a lot of people are heading in a direction, but they may not know where they're going. If that's you, you don't need to be heading that direction, because there's a way that seems right to man, but the end thereof is death. What would you say, Tony?
I'd say don't hop on the bandwagon like everybody else. The world around you is going to tell you a lie about who God is.
No. It is whosoever will may come. It's universal. Anyone wants to get on a truck and get on.
I wasn't saying mine was better than yours,
I wasn't saying yours
you didn't
was
have
better
to
than mine.
chop me out from under, chop my legs out from under me.
It's time's gone.
Okay. Hey, we're on show number 293. We're gonna be.
Whoa, I have to have a party.
We're gonna not for 293, but maybe for 300 if we get that far. And isn't it amazing how much we have matured and grown, and how much more professional we've gotten over 293 shows?
Absolutely.
Ray, don't you
It's
think
just
so, Ray?
wonderful, yeah.
Ray, lie to me and tell me how much you think we've matured.
It's been great.
And we're
Finally
gonna.
got the color right after 293 shows.
Oh. Speaking of the guys behind the camera,
They
we're
do a
going to
good
try
job.
to get an extra camera here pretty soon and reinstitute the bunker cam
I'd like that.
so that we can get
Daniel and Danny.
Daniel Squared on the program with us. I don't know. I had a good time today. Did you?
Behind the box.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Really good.
All right,
yeah, I've
settle
had a
down.
good time. It's good to be
Okay.
back.
Mark, did you have a good time today?
Why wouldn't I have a good time?
You
As
feeling
long as
good,
you
Mark?
are behind it, I'm always having a good time. Even though we covered nothing, no questions, nothing, Zilda. Tomorrow, just take care of that.
Until then, be encouraged as Mark encourages me. Strengthened and unafraid. Proclaim the gospel.
You're full of it!
Living Waters presents On the Box.